A barber chair is a dangerous situation when the tree begins to split apart before it can commit to the fell or the desired lay. Often will happen when a tree is under a lot of tension with an inadequate hinge or face cut. This situation shows the back side. You can see how the tree is going to split off and come very close to the operator, and it could then roll off the stump and hit the operator on either side. In this example, they are pounding wedges in, the tree starts to go over and then stops. So the notch was probably too narrow, or maybe they had a bypass cut, which caused the cut to close. Anyways, he's about to approach it again to cut further, and that's when he notices that the barber chair split starts to happen. And then it gets totally stuck at this position, so now it's much more hazardous to deal with, and you got that huge piece of wood hovering up in the air. Here's another felling scenario. They've misjudged the weight of the tree. They think they can get away with just a simple face cut. His buddy is standing on the leaning side, and then the tree starts to split and barber chairs and goes sideways, which would have really hurt him if he had stayed there. And then this is one of the worst barber chairs ever caught on film. You can see an experienced sawyer has it just start falling apart on him, and he doesn't know which way to run, and thankfully the bulk of it landed behind him, but it theoretically just as easily could have landed right on top of him. 3 things that will help prevent a barber chair are an open and clean face cut, an appropriately thick hinge, not too thick, not too thin, and plunge cutting when you know the tree is under a lot of tension. And I'll mention one more technique that can help prevent a barber chair, and that is using a strap. And the strap can hold the split together even though the tree is under a lot of tension and wants to split. It's physically not possible to do so if the strap is tied correctly and is strong enough. Really quick, I want to go back to the plunge and explain why it's such a good technique. You get to plunge through the center of the tree and clear out all the heartwood and center wood, and you can set your hinge before finishing your back cut. You finish the back cut by simply going right out the back after you've set your hinge. So you're supposed to plunge through and then work the chainsaw back towards the apex of the notch until you have the right thickness of hinge that you are comfortable with. In this scenario, I actually misjudged. Even though I did a plunge cut, I left too thick of a hinge, and watch what happens. These dead ash trees that were very heavy leaning were prone to splitting. So the second one, I make my hinge a lot thinner, and it goes just fine.
It's very different. This hinge worked. I mean, it's still very brittle, but you know, I made it thinner, so it helped it. It helped it do its job. That hinge didn't work at all. There was no hinge. It barber chaired, and then it pivoted off this thing, and you saw how that stump kind of went whoa, like way up in the air, and then kind of fell over to the side like that. So there's no control. Again, the only thing that made that tree fall forward at that point was its own weight, not the hinge.
And now I'll make my final and most important point for this video. That is, have a good escape path. Even an experienced tree feller can have accidents happen. For barber chairs, the most likely place to get hit is directly behind the stump. So that's why your escape path is not supposed to be 180 degrees backwards. It's actually supposed to be 45 degrees off to the left or to the right. You're still going backwards, but you're going backwards at a 45-degree angle from the intended lay of your tree. That is to avoid the likely place of a barber chair landing and hitting you. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it helps you stay safe, enjoy the felling process without accidents or injury. Take care.